This Ed Reed stuff continues to make its way around Twitter. And our girl Yard Talk brought a very interesting question to the table about Ed Reed, Deion Sanders, and the Jackson State, Bethune-Cookman, all of that. Let's talk about it after the bumper. Stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? What is going on, everybody? My name is JeffLightsyJr. This is the Victor Formation Sports Show right here on JeffLightsYJr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell. Yeah, I'm feeling a lot better because I finally got my hair cut. Oh my God, I was looking rough for a long time. But anyway, as I told you guys, we came on here the other day and I talked about Ed Reed and his interview on the Pivot podcast. Shout out to the folks from the Pivot, Channing Crowder, Fred Taylor, Ryan Clark. Did an amazing interview with, I call him Coach Reed now, but Ed Reed, even though he's technically hasn't been a head coach just yet. But there were some things that Ed said that now folks, specifically in the HBCU space, are calling into question. Now, Ed talked about how Deion Sanders called him about taking the Jackson State head coaching job. That Deion Sanders wanted him to be the next head coach at Jackson State, so much so that Ed actually met with Ashley Robinson, the AD at Jackson State. They had a meeting, and Ed says essentially the only reason why he didn't take the JSU job is because Bethune-Cookman called him first. I told you guys I posted that clip on Twitter. It has made its round. I think it's been seen over 200,000 times. The Pivot podcast episode with Ed Reed has been seen a gazillion times. But there was an interesting question brought to the table by my friend Yard Talk, HBCU, Miss LaShonda. She posted this, and this has been seen almost 100,000 times. And this is what she had to say. She said, so I wrote in my tweet, Ed Reed speaks about how he spoke with Deion Sanders in Jackson State, AD Ashley Robinson about becoming the next head coach at JSU after Prime. And he says he only took the Bethune-Cookman job over JSU because they called first. Now, Ms. Yard Talk said, why would anybody, this is very good, why would anybody recommend their friend for a job at Jackson State if they were treated so poorly? And you got to think back, right? Everybody accused Jackson State, not everybody, but the masses, the people at large. Deion allowed the narrative to be ran that Jackson State stole from him, that he had to donate half his salary, that they feared for their safety. His daughter went out in public and said all of these things. All of these things were said, and Jackson State was publicly bashed by the public at large, at least in a social media space, right? Nobody in real life was actually like in person was saying this, but different people were going on different platforms. Uncle Luke, his daughter, people all over social media were allowed to run with the narrative that Jackson State treated Deion Sanders so bad. Oh my God, he had to leave because of the crime, and they were stealing money and they weren't paying him and they weren't counting up the ticket sales, etc., etc., etc. He allowed all of those narratives to be spewed, all of that toxic poison to the HBCU community and the Black community at large. I said this. I said this months ago. I said, yo, I respect Deion as a coach. I think he's a good coach. I think he'll do some good things, even at Colorado. But I said the detriment that he did was allowing those narratives to be spewed about that Black college, because it's a microcosm. Jackson State and HBCUs were just a microcosm for Black people. You can go back and watch my videos. I said it a long time ago. And what LaShonda brought up, what Miss Yard Talk, shout out to her, brought up is with him allowing all of that to happen and him essentially kicking dirt on Jackson State on his way out the door to Boulder, Colorado, one of the whitest schools in America, by the way, with all the bad mouthing that he did at JSU, or the bad mouthing he allowed to happen of JSU, broken mentalities. They weren't progressive and forward thinking, all that stuff. Why would he recommend his friend and buddy and fellow Hall of Famer Ed Reed to take that job? So much so that Ed himself admitted that he actually met with Ashley Robinson. How does that work? How does it work that the place that you said wasn't forward thinking, the place that you said You allowed those narratives, your daughter saying you guys feared for your safety, etc., etc. That same place, you recommended to take the job after you to Ed Reed. How does that work? Because some of us got brains. Some of us can put two and two together, and that ain't equaling four right now. Something ain't adding up. That math ain't mathing. You get what I'm saying? It's very hypocritical because somebody lying. Like somebody lying. Either Jackson State ain't as effing bad as you tried to make it seem, or you allowed those narratives to go out there and project. Either it ain't that bad, or Ed Reed's lying. It's one of the two. And guess what? I don't think Ed's lying. And as someone who's actually visited Jackson State University and visited the campus and been at a football game and interacted with those people and know what it's like. Y'all know y'all my family. We good over here. I've been missing, but I'm back. Come on, man. Come on. We got to call a spade a spade. And each and every single day, each and every single chance that we get to fight back on the hypocrisy that was bestowed upon that university and that was bestowed upon HBCUs in general, we got to fight back on that. We got to fight back on that. I mean, these are real things that were said about JSU when it came to the lack of progression, when it came to what they didn't do and what they should have done and what they could have did better, etc., etc., etc. I'm just saying, man. Like it was pretty crazy. The things that were said about Jackson, the things that were said in my comments, that was said on Twitter, that was said on other people's comments about how bad it was and how bad they treated Deion and how they misused him and blah, blah, blah. They misused him so much that he recommended his buddy and fellow Pro Football Hall of Famer, Ed Reed, to take the job. That's how much they misused him. You see how hilarious that is? You see how silly that sounds? You see how contradictory that is? How that just contradicts itself? Man, Jackson State treated me so damn bad that I recommended the job to my former teammate and fellow Pro Football Hall of Famer and fellow high-profile person. That's how bad they treated me, is that I recommended my friend to take the job. And when I was told Ashley didn't want Ed, then I went on stage and got in front of 50 million cameras and told him I actually recommended TC. While I'm rubbing giving him a back massage, pause. While I'm shrugging his shoulders. I actually meant this job was for TC, not Ed. Because this isn't the first time. Ed's not a dumb man, bro. He's not misspeaking. This is not the first time he said Deion wanted him to take the job. So I believe him when he said Deion wanted him to be the head coach of Jackson State. I believe him wholeheartedly. This is not the first time he said it. He said it on multiple occasions. He said it to Roland Martin a year ago. And now he's saying it again to the Pivot Podcast. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying, man. Like, the math ain't mathing. If the place was that bad, if the place was that miserable, if the place was that dangerous, remember they said it was dangerous. Deion Sanders, this is what got me blocked. Deion Sanders said that they feared for their safety in Jackson. That they feared for their safety in Jackson. And y'all was jumping on her head, and I tweeted about it, and y'all know how the rest went. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, we gotta, when we give people praise, and I gave Prime praise, and I still give them praise when they do good things. You also have the right to criticize these people. And what he did to Jackson, I said it then and I'll say it now, was wrong. It was wrong. And you got to be held accountable for the things that you do. The way he did them, the good folks at Jackson, really, really the good, genuine folks at Jackson, Mississippi, of Jackson State University. And now you got Ed coming out saying that he wanted me to take the job. But those are the same people that he bashed on his way out the door. I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, the math ain't math. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave your thoughts, and shout out to my girl, Miss LaShonda Yard Talk, for pointing this out, because it was a good call. I didn't even think about it when I made the first video. My name is Jeff Lightsy Jr. This is the Victory Formation Sports Show right here on Jeff Lightsy Jr. YouTube, Facebook, wherever you get your content. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. That is on Instagram and Twitter at JLightsy7. And let me know your thoughts. Am I reaching? Or do me, Yard Talk, and the others make a good point? Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Peace.